Confronting the Unknown.
Gulandak, 3rd of Masimenes, of 41 after the Universal War. My dearest journal, what a week it has been. Our training sessions have become more intense since we returned from our unexpected mission. But today I've got enough energy to continue rewriting our venture at the Swarta Cave. As I mentioned in the previous entry, I was captivated by the exquisite beauty of the precious stone that hovered a few centimeters above the ground. Due to that fascination, I moved closer to it while focusing on its radiant glow. However, when I was as close as to touch it, the lovely turquoise hue darkened into an airy black tone. Suddenly, a horrific creature materialized beside the stone, pointing her staff at me. Her awful face was of such terrifying proportions that I was not sure if her grotesque features paralyzed me more than her sudden appearance. Everything happened so fast that I barely had time to react. Thankfully, Yakren teleported and bravely intervened, halting the creature's attack with his arms and creating a barrier that protected both of us. Frustrated by her failed attempt, the enigmatic figure swiftly moved aside to shield herself from my mate's response. As the gem now darkened completely, the chamber plunged into profound darkness. However, a slender ray of warm light filtered through a small feature at the top, revealing 3 monstrous beings in that place. All 3 were draped in tattered dark robes that concealed their skeletal bodies. Strangely, they lacked any kind of footwear, yet effortlessly floated in mid-air. Each carried a long, slender wooden staff adorned with miniature skulls.
Do you really believe you can steal the Gem of Destiny from us?
Sneered one of the creatures, though their faces were barely visible. Their shrill voices and boisterous laughter filled me with unease. There was something about their tone that made me feel deeply uncomfortable. Before we could answer those diabolical beings, one of them snatched the gem with its bony hand. The stone regained its captivating turquoise hue, which had initially enthralled me, and the creature tucked it into her pocket. Simultaneously, a radiant glow emanated from the skull atop another creature's staff, illuminating the entire room and obscuring my view of what was about to unfold. Suddenly, the ground beneath me trembled, and before I could react, the surface dissolved, letting me tumble into a dark void. I couldn't gauge how far I fell, but upon hitting the ground, a sharp pain shot through my right side. Worried I might be left alone in that abyss, I called out to Yakren, Ish, and Arus, aware they could levitate. Upon hearing no response from them, I panicked at the idea of having to find my way back alone. But then, I could see the flickering flame in Ish's palm, illuminating their descent. Relief flooded over me as I realized my mates hadn't abandoned me. With gratitude, I rose to my feet despite the lingering pain. Yet, as they landed on the sandy ground beside me, disapproval etched their faces, leaving me perplexed and unable to comprehend their discontent.
Are you crazy or deaf?
Yakren cried, stepping forward to scold me.
I shouted at you 3 times trying to stop you.
I'm sorry, I responded, deeply affected.
Apologies ain't gonna change squat.
But it was there, alone. I tried to explain myself.
Exactly. That should have alarmed you. How did such a precious object be left unguarded? Now, thanks to your stupid actions, we gotta figure out another way to track down that damn gem.
I've already apologized, I replied, growing somewhat irritated as Yakren continued his reprimand. What else do you want me to do? To separate me from the group so you can claim the stone for yourself? Fine.
Learn from your mistakes. That's what I want you to do.
Avoiding eye contact, I looked away, attempting to dissolve the tense atmosphere that had settled between us. "Do you have any information about the gem?" I asked, hoping to alleviate the tension.
Those witches vanished with it,
Ish replied, unfazed by the previous argument.
so we'll have to find another way to retrieve it.
As Ish finished speaking, Arus turned her attention to one side of the chamber. I watched, puzzled, as she pressed her pointed ear against the cold rock.
Guys, there's water here!
She exclaimed joyfully, her eyes alight.
If those witches took the gem somewhere, it's likely that what lies beyond this wall will lead us to them.
I couldn't fully grasp the reasoning behind her conclusion, but Ish and Yakren seemed to find it valid. So immediately, they started searching for a crack in the wall that would allow us to cross to the other side.
Are you gonna stay there forever?
Yakren asked, seeing me motionless at the room's center, nursing my painful side. "May we take a momentary pause, please?" I asked meekly, aware that my condition rendered me useless in our current state.
What's wrong?
Arus inquired, her concern evident on her face as if she had sensed my discomfort. "I've injured myself in the fall, and I need some rest to recover my strength," I explained.
Rest?
Yakren exclaimed, still fueled by anger from our previous argument.
Boy, quit speaking stupidities and come to help us. Ain't no time for resting in the middle of a war.
"I won't allow you to speak to me like that. Who do you think you are?" I shouted, mastering my courage.
And what if not?
He retorted, glaring at me.
Do you still think you're the Prince of Baldies and that your crew gonna nab me? Get real, dude. You're a warrior now, whether you dig it or not. If you keep playing wild, you'll end up with your fam in the kingdom of Urine, where spirits catnap for eternity. Is that what you crave?
A profound feeling of indignation surged through me, but I knew arguing further was futile. Observing Ish and Arus as they focused on finding a way to pass the wall that separated us from the stream of water, I joined their efforts, determined to contribute as best as I could. After several minutes of searching for any crevice or weak spot in the rocky barrier, we concluded that breaking through was impossible. It seemed that we were trapped, unable to access the only clue that could lead us back to our precious gem. Then, just when hope seemed lost, Arus stepped back, creating distance between herself and the wall. With her fingers joined together before her indigo amulet, she closed her eyes, concentrating her energy. Her hair and garments fluttered as she gathered her power. Soon, a formidable liquid sphere emerged from the talisman. Guiding it through the circle formed by her hand, she directed it toward the natural barrier. The impact was powerful, shattering the resistance and creating a small opening in the rock, which granted us passage to continue our adventure. As Arus had indicated, there was a narrow watercourse descending from above. As we squeezed through a narrow passage, it sneaked among countless columns buried beneath tons of stone. After several minutes, we descended further into the cave, relying solely on the faint flow of water as our guide. Following my mates, I realized that none of us knew precisely where the crystalline current would lead us. Yet, it didn't seem to concern them much, as if it was our only way forward in this mission. Suddenly, Ish, who led our group, stopped abruptly.
"Guys, I hear something."
He whispered, turning to us, surprise etched on his face. We understood that whatever caused the sound could aid our progress. Silently, we paused, straining to listen to what had caught the warrior's attention. Soon enough, we discerned the footsteps of an approaching group of beings, or perhaps a colossal creature with numerous legs. At that moment, uncertainty clouded my expectations, instantly raising alarm for all of us.
"They're coming this way. What should we do?"
Arus murmured, her worry evident. "We should retreat into the cave and seek refuge until we know what we are facing. I suggested, convinced that we were ill-equipped to confront whatever approached at such speed.
No, we must stand our ground and press forward.
Fish interjected, his warrior spirit shining through. We all turned to Yakren, waiting for his input. Somehow, without understanding when or why, it felt like we had all designated the veteran warrior as our leader, seeking his approval for every decision.
Let him come.
The dark-skinned warrior decided, a mischievous smile playing on his lips.